Hello and welcome to Ladies Who Launch. Today, Elizabeth and I will be speaking with Kimberly Van Buren, who happens to be a dually licensed marriage and family therapist, as well as a licensed professional counselor and owner of Balancing Act Life Management Services.
Kim's specialty is in work-life balance and is a major key player in the assistance of major health therapy in the corporate world. Let's just say Kim is a powerhouse.
We will discuss the topic of women and the reasons why they choose not to have children. Some women choose to not have children in order to focus on their careers, marriages, all sorts of things. And other women just choose not to have children because they don't want children. Kimberly happens to be one of those women who chooses not to have children. So Kimberly, we wanted to ask you and talk to you a little bit about why, some of the reasons you choose not to have children. So I wanted to know some of your perspectives, say on family, for example.
Absolutely. Well, I was always a big fan of families, and I always thought I was going to have children as I was growing up. I had named my children since I was in the seventh grade. Like, I had my daughter Kennedy, and she was going to be like this way, and it was going to be awesome. But as I got older and I got married, and it was time to actually make this dream happen, I felt a little bit differently. It was something I did not rush into. I waited and waited, and it was like, oh, well, let me finish this first. Let me finish this PhD program. Let me get my license. Let me do all these things. And then I was thinking, well, maybe, do I really want to do this? And I think for a lot of people, they don't make a decision to have children as much as it's just the next step of what they do, right? They get married and they think, oh, well, now I'm going to have children.
Right.
And so I just decided to take this opportunity to really focus on, do I want to have children? Right? And I had all of these opportunities to see my friends and their children and all the parenting things you needed to do, and not just dress them up to look cute, which is what I wanted to do, right?
So all the crying,
yes.
all the wiping of boogers,
oh, absolutely,
waking
absolutely.
up at night.
I think when I saw my friend floss her daughter's teeth, I was just like, oh, this is gross. Like, I don't think I really want to do that, So it's definitely the hardest job ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and a lot of people, like we were talking about previously, the societal pressures, right?
Yes.
You do get a lot of pressure to have children. Well, why don't you guys have children? You're a professional. Your husband's professional. You guys should have kids. You get this from everywhere.
Absolutely. Elizabeth and I were Mexican American, and we come from a background where if we don't have children, something's off with us. My grandparents and my mother, when are you going to have kids? When's your next one? When's your third one? And so the pressure to be a mother in our society, it's a lot. It's extreme. So I want to ask you, Kim, how is it in the African American society? Is it similar to that?
I would say, from my experience, my mother is one of 13.
Wow.
So I have a ton of cousins. However, all of my cousins, we don't have a lot of children. And even all of my friends, everyone, not a lot of us have children. And it's interesting to look at, but I think that it's changing. I think even in the Mexican American community, it is changing as far as who's having children,
It is,
right?
yes.
I think our parents' generation were probably the last that really felt that they had to. Right? I think now women our age, we're really making the decision.
Right.
Do you think it's more of an educational factor, Kim?
I think it is, but not in the way that you may think. I don't think it's necessarily book education. It's more about wisdom. The more you know, the better decision you make.
That's
and
right.
So, like I said before, where women may not have made a decision to have children, now they've lived more, they might be continuing their education into advanced degrees, but that's just providing them more opportunity to live life, right? And understanding what other things there are to do besides parenting. I think also along the lines of, like when you said education, a lot of people think, oh, well, you're just so career driven, or you don't like kids, or you don't have this time. But I don't want to have children for the same reason I don't want to mountain climb. Like, it's just something I'm not into. And I think that you should be. You should be totally there with your kids and providing for them all the attention and everything that they need.
Yes.
So,
and I think there's a misconception because it doesn't mean you don't love kids.
Absolutely.
Right? It just means that you decide, and I think, and I was telling Elizabeth, there's an American author, her name is Elizabeth Gilbert, And she is mostly known for her book,
Eat, Pray, Love.
Eat, Pray, Love.
Absolutely.
And she described it to the T. And basically how she described it is there's three type of women. There's those women that they just know they want to be moms, okay? Then you have that other, she calls it as three type of camp moms, camp ladies, whatever. So the first camp is those women that they just know from the minute they're born, they just know they want to be moms. Then you have the second camp, which is labeled as the anti-camp. Now these are the type of women that they love kids. They'll do anything for them. They'll babysit. They will give money to charities for them. But guess what? Here you go. Here's your kids back type of thing. Then you have the third type of camp, which are those women that they just know, you know what? 10 feet away from kids, we're good. They're cute and all, but no, thank you, And basically what it comes down to is it's okay. If you know in your heart it is not aligned with your spirit, you don't want kids, it's okay. But what I thought was very interesting is that she said what's really funny is that women are the ones judging those type of women. And that's what we need to break. That is that's what we need to just cut, exactly, and respect each other and know that it's okay.
I think women, people in general judge quite a bit, but women in particular, we have so many expectations. You need to do these things or you are less than or not as smart as. And I think it goes across the board now. If you have vegan people, right, or in African American community is the natural hair women, right? You have your people who do gluten free, or people who don't watch TV and they're looking at you.
Ours are if you go to college or not, if you graduate from high school or not. That's in our Latin American community.
You have all of these things. It's like, oh, you watch television? Well, I just don't have time for that. Yeah. And we need to stop and acknowledge and appreciate everybody for their individuality.
Yes.
If we were all the same, that would be a very
boring world.
Exactly. And so you were talking about the women, the three different camps.
Yes.
I think there's one camp that we don't even acknowledge, and those are the women who actually do have kids, but they don't want them.
That's right.
Right? And it's an ugly topic, and we all would like to avoid it, but you see that. You see the women who, they are poor parents. They would rather be doing something else.
That's right. Absolutely. You're so right.
And
yes.
I mean, I'm not talking about the working mom or the mom that, has other things going on besides parenthood. I'm talking about the mom who is just really irritated by all the parenting things she has to do.
It's already, to me, I see it like it's already hard enough being a mom. So if you ain't cut for it,
Kim, you're so right about the baby thing. It's very difficult for women, I think, because they don't know what to expect after they have their baby. They bring home a baby from the hospital, the baby that sleeps in the bassinet after birth, and then they come home and it's total different. Because that baby from the hospital, I promise you, ain't the baby you're bringing home.
Right. And
Maybe not.
Then you have all this propaganda on movies and television where you see the mom who has the perfect snapback body in the heels, pushing the stroller, shopping with all this free time, all of this money. And it's just propaganda. That is not real life. And so we are feeding a lot of young women this idea, right? And I think Oprah said it that you cannot have it all at the same time. Absolutely. You are going to have to invest in something and make that your priority for that amount of time. So I'm not saying you can't have a career and be a parent and do all these things, but something's got to give. Absolutely. So, and I hate to bring up and open up a new can of worms, but so you are saying, Kim, that you have to pick either kids or career? Well, I think you have to pick one to prioritize. I don't think you can't do both, but one of them is going to have to take priority. And that's putting marriage on the back burner, by the way. Your husband's way back. He's way back. Thank you, Kimberly, so much for your time and your expertise on this subject. You're an expert at this. Absolutely, Kim. Thank you. Again, ladies, keep in mind to make a conscious effort to remain non-judgmental, because that's key to being kind and understanding. It's okay for women to value and prioritize and may even feel strongly against something, but it takes an educated mind to understand the things we may not always accept. With that being said, thanks for tuning in, and we are looking forward to seeing you in our next episode. So ladies, plug in, and together, let's launch.